Hello everyone! In this video, I will tell you how to create a confident express bet with a good odds while minimizing risk. Method. Number 1. This involves compiling an express bet with events that you consider confident, each of which has been tested over time. In other words, such confident, reliable events. We do this in our Telegram channel absolutely free, also here. We will be doing this on this YouTube channel, so make sure to subscribe. Here, we will be doing this several times a week. Well, if you want to receive daily free predictions with good odds, and rest assured, we are already doing this on Telegram every day. In the comments under the video, there will be a link. Visit there on a daily basis. We are working for you. Regarding the first method, these should be events you are confident in, as if you were betting on them individually. For this, you need to bet on them according to a specific strategy. And for this, each event should not just be chosen for the odds, but initially considered as a separate entity. And then from such individual events, you can compile odds of 5, 6, 7, 8. As I already mentioned, we will be doing this here and on the YouTube channel, and we also do this daily on our Telegram channel. Therefore, if you want your accumulators with high odds, yet with minimal risks, to be successful, first test these individual events over a certain distance. Let's say you chose a strategy for football or hockey, for example, a goal in the first half. This is just an example. And you selected such championships and leagues where a goal in the first half occurs more often than in other championships. And from such matches, you can compile certain odds 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever you like. And here, it's important to understand that the number of events always increases the risk. Therefore, to minimize the risk, try, for example, if today you have 8 suitable events, or even 5, you can split these events into 2 accumulators. In this case, each accumulator will have good odds. Therefore, method number 1 is to compile high odds from reliable events, each of which has been tested separately and over a distance. Method number 2 is to catch certain errors and biases in the odds at the bookmakers. That is, if you see, and we have used this very successfully in our Telegram channel, there is a certain strategy we have, which we shared absolutely free for you. By the way, you can also use bonuses and funds to test these strategies, these accumulators. We also have all the details in Telegram, where you can get a huge bonus on your deposit, so check the pinned message there. All the details. Method number 2 is to search for these very discrepancies with reality. This especially works in tournaments like the World Cup, Nations League, that is, where national teams usually play. Because most often these national teams have not played against each other, meaning the bookmakers have no information about head-to-head matches, making it difficult to set a reasonable odds. For example, a favorite is playing against an underdog. The odds for the favorite might be 1.05, while for the underdog it could be 50 or even 70. And here it's important to pay attention. We also share this information for free and talk about these tips on Telegram. Just for the World Cup, we did this. It's worth noting here that the underdog often has an attractive odds on a positive handicap. For example, plus 5.5 or plus 6.5. Yes, there's a chance that the favorite will win with a huge score and a large margin. But what is the probability that the favorite will win by a difference of 5, 6 or even 7 goals? In fact, the probability of this is not that high. And it's also interesting to consider the option of betting on the individual total under for the clear favorite. For example, 5.5 or 4.5. As practice shows, you can observe the current World Cup, the qualification stage, that favorites generally did not win by a large margin against underdogs in most matches, especially against clear underdogs. That is, there was usually no blowout score. And by the way, I'll share an interesting tip. These are corner kicks for the underdogs. This is a whole separate, very interesting strategy. That is, when we take corner kicks for a clear underdog, the bookmakers often offer, especially in live betting for example, more than one corner, exactly just one. After 10-15 minutes of the match, if the underdog hasn't made a single corner, they offer very attractive odds, so be sure to take advantage of it. The third way to minimize risks and catch high odds is to pay attention to live betting. In the previous point, I mentioned live betting and explained how you can use it wisely. If we talk about what can be done in the current realities, it is literally the following. For example, you decided that there will be over 2.5 goals or under 2.5 goals in the match. Let's say over 2.5. and they haven't scored for 20 minutes, and you start to worry. And here there are an interesting point. Point number one is that you are worried because there are no goals, and 20 or 25 minutes have already passed. But point number two is the odds. The odds for over 2.5 goals have significantly increased. If you want, you can also place a bet. It's important to bet here, despite what you have already planned. This bet, and despite the risks, because time has passed and there are no goals. But here you can hedge your bets. And take, for example, not over 2.5 goals. But for the same odds, as you initially planned, take, for example, over 2 goals. Exactly. In this way, you maintain a good odds and simultaneously reduce the risks. The same applies, for example, with under totals. If you decided that there will be less than 3 goals in the match, let's say, and suddenly they score goals in the first 15 minutes, or even 2 goals in 20 minutes, for example, and of course you think they still have a lot of time to play, surely, if they started so strongly, then they will score a lot now. In practice, however, it works the other way around. If teams score 1-2 goals, or even 3 goals right from the start, then it's unlikely. Such a pace, they will maintain throughout the game. Well, agree, when have you seen in the first half, for example, a score of 2-1 in football? In the first half, 2-1. How often have you seen the same number of goals or even more in the second half? Very rarely. If teams start very strong and very productive, then of course they slow down the pace later. Therefore, if you have outlined a certain outcome and can wait for it live, stick to this strategy. Check what the odds are. You can catch some very interesting opportunities there. That's exactly the kind of things we do on Telegram. So, these are the 3 points on how to find high odds, how to achieve high odds with minimal risk. I hope this was useful for you in the comments. I am leaving a link to our Telegram channel. Go there. We work for you for free every day. Good luck and goodbye.